All right. So thank you, Teresa Nicole, for being here for our CCNA Security meeting today. I am very sorry for all the meetings that I have missed in the past. It has been one of the roughest semesters I've had in a while. I've had worse because I have actually missed the entire semester, but I am glad to be back with you. I want to talk a little bit about what's left for you in this class and what you need to do. And I really want to show, really what you've got here is obviously, hopefully you now can see this, the Word document I've got. I'm going to increase the size here in just a second, so don't freak out about that. Let me get a little bit bigger. View, zoom. Oh, come on now. Come on, computer. Actually, let's just increase the size of the font.
Just start your test.
Cancel. All right. So we're going to look at what's left for you to do in the class. Obviously, we talked about you're trying to do 80% of the PTs and the labs. Okay. Labs take precedence. So if you can't get 80% of the packet tracers done, you want to get 80% of the labs done. And that is on my NetLab system. Unless you have your own NetLab system and you want to use that, ask if you do that you do give me, do a couple on my NetLab system. The written final and course feedback are on for your class, as are all the chapter exams. So you need to complete all chapter exams. That's not optional. Complete all chapter exams. All right. But the written final and course feedback are on, and they will continue to be on rolling as we move forward towards the end of the class. The hands-on that's mentioned in the class that we have, the hands-on final is actually the Chapter 11 Comprehensive Lab. So if you do the Chapter 11 Comprehensive Lab, and it has to be done on my NetLab system. So it has to be done on netlabs.stanley.edu. Okay, that way I can look at it and make sure you did complete it. And it also helps me look, see if you have a problem, I can actually give you an idea of what you missed and why. Other than that, there's a couple little items that we need to talk about. One is when you get into the ASA labs, there's 5505 ASAs, and there's the newer 5506-X. Now, the only pod that has a 5506 is pod 6. Okay, so if you want to do the lab B, which is the 5506 lab, that is pod 6. Pods 1 through 5 are 5505s. Okay, so be aware of that. If you want to do the 5506 labs, which I strongly recommend you do, simply because it gives you the opportunity to work with that newer gear, that you do that. Let me check. I'm gonna make sure I'm not absolutely lying to you, because I was thinking for a second maybe it's actually if I log in as administrator I can look immediately. Yeah, but everything. While I'm sitting here logging into the system, do either of you have any questions for me? You had any issues?
Is it a NetLab thing when you're doing? So I noticed all the inside and outside. It's inside is misspelt, and outside is misspelt. Like you can't type outside; it'll give you an error. You have to type SDIE as far as the side on both inside and outside. Do you know what I'm talking about?
You're talking about like when you name the interfaces?
Yeah. Or any command you use the keyword inside outside with. I don't know if it's a NetLab thing, but I noticed inside the captures for the lab.
Which lab was it? Let me start a pod and look at it, because
it's all the chapter 9 labs and chapter 10 labs.
Okay.
If you have to type a command in NetLabs and you type the word inside, you'll get
a lab right now, aren't you?
Command.
Okay, you're in a lab. I'm gonna jump in your pod if you don't mind. So you're using.
No, I don't. Well, that one's ADSM, the one I was working on, or okay. ASDM. So it really doesn't have a lot of commands as far as the command line interface.
Gotcha. Let me jump in and make a pod. Do my own then. Let me do one. Schedule for myself. I have not seen that. So, wrong class. So I'm interested in.
If you use the tab, if I just type in and use the tab key, it'll complete it, but it completes it spelt wrong. So I'm sure it's done multiple times with multiple commands. At first, I just thought it was like a coding error for that one command.
Right.
But then I noticed that it was everywhere the word inside or outside is used, it's spelt wrong. And I'm like, this is weird. I wonder why they did this.
That is super weird. Let me look. I just did the, let me stop sharing this one and I'll do a new share here. I just shared or just started the, let me stop that for a second. Stop sharing. Okay, I'll pull that over and see if we can't look at it. Yeah, that's extremely weird. I have not noticed that. So you may have, it may be something that's introduced a bug here. Let me jump in and see if we can't see what you're talking about here. So let me enter my lab. This is a 5506 lab. So under content, this is anywhere, Control F. It should just inside, outside. No, it should be using the regular. Okay, let's.
Yes. So inside the lab, those are fine. But if you try to type those commands, like as it's presented in the lab, it errors, and you actually have to spell it wrong. It's SDIE instead of SIDE.
Now that is weird. Yep. Let me check that. I have never seen that.
But I did a screen capture for you yesterday just to send it to you because I was like, well, that was at that point I thought, well, this is an error, but then I saw it on Inside today for something else. And then I saw it for multiple commands and I was like, there's no way this could be an error. This is intentional. They did this for a reason, I'm sure, because there's some kind of conflict, but I at least wanted to mention it to you to kind of figure out why.
We got this 5506 here and we'll jump in and try it because that's a very, very weird thing to see. I mean, you should be able to just do your name F inside and outside and do security levels and IP address and be good to go on the physical interfaces. Come on, release it. It's still booting. So we'll look at that. Any other comments? Any other problems? We are going to put, and it probably won't affect y'all because we won't have time to do it before this class is over, but we are getting ready to put about 6 or 7 more pods online. So if you're taking a class with us in the summer, that will help you. I don't know if either of you have many classes left you could take. There's not much left that we do that you hadn't already had.
Well, I guess I should feel relieved. But I won't because just to sure the academy will create new content or something.
Oh, guaranteed. Oop, wrong interface. 1, 2. Well, really doesn't matter. All right. So name if you have to spell it right. Name if inside. Okay. And
yeah, I'm trying to find the specific one. So go to where you like. Can you pull the content page up, Kelly?
Yeah, I'll pull it back over. I had it over. Can you see it? Okay, let me stop share here. And I'll have to share that page. Hold on a second. All right, share. There it is. Okay, so tell me where I need to go.
So scroll down.
There's ASD, a configured.
Okay, right there where you do HTTP and then you have the keyword inside after that. Try
Okay.
the command on your pod and see.
Try that. I'm actually gonna stop this share then and pop this over.
And you know, we probably should have used a 5505 because that was the pod I was on, just to make sure it isn't.
Okay.
Right.
Well,
The problem, it may be unique to the 5505.
It could be. I can pop over that one of those too. All right. So HTTP server enable HTTP 192.168.1.0 1.0 255 inside. All right, that worked for me.
Yeah, you're not getting the same thing I did.
I'm gonna end this one. Let me go back and find me a pod schedule lab for myself, and we'll do secure, and we'll do here, and we'll do lab right here, and we'll pick a pod that's already. I'm gonna be able to get. I don't have a pod that's got 5505 in it. Are you in one with a 5505?
Yes.
Let me just jump in it real quick and just try. I'm gonna mess it up. Is that okay?
That's fine.
Actually, we'll just do HTTP server enable HTTP 192.168.1.0.
So now go back, do in and tab. Do you see how I do that?
Okay.
So it's the same for outside. Anything that uses the outside command is the same thing.
Yeah. 1.2 is what you're in, right? No, I forgot. This is the one that does the show VLANs. Show VLANs. So
switch VLAN?
Yep. Show switch VLAN. All right. So we got inside. Oh, that's why, because you named your VLAN wrong.
You're telling me this is because I typoed this?
Yep.
Well, then I must have done that yesterday on multiple labs. Why would it?
That I don't know. Let's try something. Can I erase this and reload it?
Yeah, absolutely. Trying to pull up the file from yesterday where I screen captured to see what command that was.
Because it could be. This is a 5506, so it's definitely not. You go back to the 5505. The question is, did you reload? Did you? Let's see. Let me take a peek and see what we got here. Did you reload your information from the other same lab, which would have brought over the names?
No, I didn't. I started from scratch.
Start scratch. All right, so we do that. All that's right. All that's done. It should we name it? Yeah.
So yeah, when I did the question mark for the route, the command that I ran, the problem I ran into yesterday, the command was route outside, and then quad zero, and then your IP next hop destination.
Yep.
I did the route question mark, it actually, you know, again, if I'm naming the interface, maybe I named it wrong, because it says here that outside was SDIE. And so I'm going to send this to you.
All right, so that's got nothing there. So see, yeah, send me your config, actually, if you can do that, if you've got it. Actually, you know what? Hold on just a second. I can see exactly what you did. If you don't mind me showing it, I'm recording, so I'm going to stop sharing this. So we won't show everybody what you typed in.
No, it's okay. They can learn from my stupidity. Actually, it's going to end up being something.
All right, let me look and see what I got here. Devices, we want the session logs, and we want ASA. Okay, so it's booted.
But I thought it was really, really strange that, like, I felt like if it was a code error and it was part of something NetLab was doing, that it was definitely something you would have circulated to the class.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I thought was really weird. And, you know, the chances of me finding something and it not be reported by anybody else really kind of alludes to the fact that this is going to be my error.
All right, you named the outside interface incorrect yesterday. You named it OUTSDIE. You had the inside named correctly, but you had the outside. And this, I will actually share this because this is pretty cool. If people don't know about it, when you've got NetLabs, I can actually go back and see everything that was typed in the lab that you did. And as I scroll down here, you can see you named the inside correct, you named the outside incorrect. And that's what was causing the issue.
When I was doing like the route question mark, it looked like it was prompting me for like the keyword that was in the
see, you said route outside.
Part of the CLI help.
See, that's saying route outside. So that means route out the interface, outside interface, any information, and send it here. And see, there's no route outside because you didn't do it, because you named it wrong. That's why it's named out city. That VLAN 2 is named out city.
Okay. That's
what it was. And even here, see, you had to go out city because that's what you named it. You could have fixed it by just going back into VLAN and renaming it outside.
Okay. So I didn't know it was pulling in a unique name that I had typed in.
Yep.
I thought it was asking for a keyword that was part of the CLI.
No, it's actually bringing in the interface name that you gave it.
Okay, that makes sense.
So that's why it was giving you problems. Yeah, that is neat that you can actually go in here and look at every single command typed on every device, which is super, super cool.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that's neat to be able to troubleshoot stuff like this. So, yeah, you're scaring me. I was like, huh? Never heard that. But now we know you got to watch. Well, and it's true. You know how we've done before. You really got to watch what you type on Cisco devices. Because
well, it's like I tell my students all the time. You know, letters and numbers matter. Like,
oh yeah, and even if you had done it, if you had actually done it with, hey Brandon, if you'd done it with an uppercase or a lowercase, it would have caused the same issue. So,
okay.
So if you named it uppercase outside and then tried to reference lowercase outside, I'm pretty sure you'll get same issue. So, Brandon, I'm glad you're here. Like I said, I want to go ahead and let everybody know what's left to finish for the class. 80% of the PTs and labs. Again, focus on the labs if you don't have time for the PTs. Complete all your chapter exams, the written final and course feedback. And then the hands-on final is just the Chapter 11 comprehensive lab. Be aware when you're going to do the extra B labs, which are the 5506 labs, pods 5 and 6 are 5506 labs. So those are 5506s. And in fact, everything going forward should be 5506s, I hope. Every pod we put on board will be a 5506. Not sure, those of you who are buying equipment, I just noticed a quote, and one of the quotes was quoting the 5506 with the firepower services or firepower license for a year. Technically, I don't think we really need that for us. So we may want to try to get a non-firepower quote to see if it cheapens it up a little bit for that license, which I think it probably will cheapen it some. But that is something to keep in mind if you're buying new gear anytime soon. Other questions about the content that we've been dealing with? Any questions on a lot of it? I think one of the good things about security is a great deal of this that we're doing, other than the ASA stuff from chapter 10 on, or chapter 9 on, a lot of it is actually stuff that we're now covering in some part, form, or fashion in the CCNA curriculum. You know, like building even a site-to-site VPN, we're doing that in connecting, whereas we're also redoing it again here between an ISR and an ASA. So not such a huge gap between this and CyberOps. I'm interested, those of you who've had CyberOps and this, what do you think in terms of the two classes? Which one do you kind of agree with my assessment of where the two would sit, and that this would sit more in a network engineering program and the CyberOps fits more into a cybersecurity slash, if you want to introduce your students to SecOps type environment?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Okay. Well, I think, and I do think one of the things I like about SecOps, and there's nothing wrong with security, I like to do both, but I do think one of the neat things about it is SecOps does give you a little different look at things than
yeah, a lot more tool based, and like
yeah.
you said, I think I've heard you say before, and you know, this is more you know, just network centric.
Right. Yeah. Definitely. Brandon, do you have any questions? Teresa, have any questions for me?
For me, can you just confirm the end of class date?
Yep, I can. Give me 1 second. I'll make sure I get this right because I'm bad about this myself. Ooh. I gotta log in real quick. Hold on a second. Technically, the scaling and connecting and security classes end on May 1st.
Okay.
But having said that, if you need some extra time, especially since y'all are in a class that doesn't really have anything coming after it, I can give you some extra time.
Okay.
So
yes.
Be aware. I'd like you to be done if you can by the 1st of May. If you can't, we can work a little bit of time in. If you're in any of my classes that have a class coming up in May 22nd, you know, obviously you've got to have if you're in scaling, you're going to connecting, you've got to have scaling done by the 22nd to get in connecting. But for you, since security doesn't lead to anything else, you know, if you want to take CyberOps in the summer, I know most of you've already had CyberOps, but if you did, you could go ahead and go into CyberOps, even if you aren't complete.
Okay.
Kelly,
Yeah.
can you repeat what you said about the chapter 11 comprehensive lab? Did you say it prepares you for the final, or it is the final?
It is the final. It is.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna, because when you look at this chapter 11, when you look at it, it is, Lord, what did I do there? It is actually everything that you could possibly do in a hands-on exam. It goes over everything through every chapter. So when you get through this thing, make sure you give yourself 4 hours and save your configs, and you may have to actually you know, save it and come back and do another 4 hours. I don't think it'd take anybody 8 hours, but it's got everything in it. So it's, I mean, it is straight through. I couldn't come up with a better exam than this.
Okay.
So I use this as the final for that very reason, because it is such a huge comprehensive lab. So all you have to do is do it on my NetLabs, and like I showed earlier, I can look at everything you typed in, so I can go through and see what you did and how much you got done, and go from there.
But you know, it won't take us longer than 4 hours.
I don't think so. I mean, like I said, especially if you have one trick I have people do is if you do the packet tracer comprehensive lab, you'll have almost all the commands you need, and then you can kind of know what you're doing before you get into the 4-hour hands-on in the comprehensive.
Okay.
Lab. They overlap a great deal.
Yeah, I noticed that with most of the labs, I just felt like I was on repeat, and some of the stuff I needed repeat on, it was good, but for the most part, it was like if I did it in Packet Tracer, then it was just doing it again in the CLI or in NetLab.
But I will tell you this: I just had my Skills USA contest, and you'd be amazed the number of kids that looked at me and stared at me when I asked them to connect to the console port on a router. They just went, you mean I don't just click the thing and it's connected? I'm like, no. You could obviously tell they had only used Packet Tracer because they were clueless about setting up, PuTTY to get into a device. And I was just flabbergasted.
Yeah.
Now, once they got in, they could do it. They could type the commands because they had been on Packet Tracer enough to do some of the stuff, but they had no clue how to get. I was just, like I said, I was just, hey, unbelievable. All right, any other questions?
Kelly, I've been doing a few of my labs on the lab that I have set up.
That's fine.
Is that okay?
Yeah, that is fine. As long as you're doing some of your labs on my NetLab system, that's fine.
Okay.
I do want you to use your system too, so you can test it out and make sure. You can also just send me, just upload a picture or something showing me that, that you did the lab on your system. Because you always just go to the usage reports and show usage. That's fine though. I want you to do some on your own.
I do have a quick question on this, because I'm going to be bringing this into like my CCNA side as we go over stuff like securing devices. That way I don't have to have two different classes. But
Okay.
When are they looking at updating this? Because I'm looking at grabbing an ASA. That's where I sent you that email. But
Right.
if all the curriculum's pointing towards the 5505, and I understand it after I researched some stuff, just because there's so many of them out there,
Right.
to support it. But
Well, but they got every lab that's for the 5505. They got a 5506 lab for it too.
yeah, but there's no real, other than just Packet Tracer. Well, I mean, I guess I can throw a copy of the image in S3 since they support ASA.
Yeah, I don't know if it does or not now. That's not supported by the Academy, by the way. Just throw it out there. But I will tell you this. There's a lot of 5505s out there. I'll be upfront with you. I have no idea when this is being rewritten. I know that IT Essentials is being rewritten and should be released sometime soon. I have not heard really a date on anything for the security. I mean, it really does need to be rewritten. There's some they've added in some stuff about some of their newer security offerings, but it's still not to the point where they really need it. They really need to add in even firepower services and the firepower management console and all that stuff, and use the 5506s and develop that. But again, I have not heard anything on that end, or I'm not at liberty to share anything. Let's put it that way. But
I figure most of the good stuff they're keeping in CCNP security.
Well, I don't know, maybe, but we don't have any CCNP security classes for the Academy, so everything we have CCNP is just the 3 classes, and they're not very good classes because all they are is read the book and do labs. So they've kind of let the CCNP classes fall by the wayside, which honestly I can understand, simply because the uptake was so poor on those classes. I haven't taught a CCNP class in forever. I know Nicole used to do it all the time in the military, but we just out here, we just haven't had as big a push for it out
Right.
here in the real world.
And are you going to be teaching the cyber ops?
I will not. That will actually be Dan Abergetti.
Okay.
That's from Dan's courses. So he usually does a pretty good job. I'm teaching only connecting in the summer. I believe that's the only one I've got. due to timing. Actually, it's funny. You know, I'm 2 weeks, 2 weeks in May, I'm in Dam Neck teaching the military there, teaching naval folks, Cisco 1 and 2. So I'm living in a hotel for 2 weeks in May. Then I'm home for a week, and then 3 out of the 4 weeks of June, I am in, let's see, San Diego. Then I'm in Ontario. Then I'm in Louisville. So that's back to back to back weeks. So I don't know where I'm gonna wash my clothes at, but it's gonna be an interesting set of travels. Are any of you going to Cisco Live?
No, I'm not.
No.
No.
We're going. We've got 4 people going from here, and so we're gonna have a good group. And then we've got 2 other people I know that are North Carolina folks that are going, and I'm trying to get a group together to find out all the people in my academies that are going to try to actually have like a little meetup out there. So find us a bar and everybody hang out.
Do you know if they're going to do the same thing like with the IoT stuff?
What, you mean have a bar and hang out, or? No, I'm just kidding.
No, like the Pi Top setup.
They are working. Oh, no, I don't know about that. I doubt it. They'll probably have, they always have something different every year. Like one year it was every step you took on this mat was raising electricity that would be used to do something, you know, so they do something different every year. I wish they'd do the Pi Tops again and give them out to us, because that was amazing.
Oh yeah, that really. I've just had so much going on. I'm almost through IoT security.
Cool.
That's where I kind of fell behind with some of this, because that was just like, wow. After the end of those 3 classes, between, you know, connecting and then doing a big data analytics and IoT security, they need to create a cert for that.
Yeah, that's pretty deep, and I got to do a lot of the updates on that, and I got to do a lot of reading on that. I've done the 2 emerging technology workshops. I passed the first one, and now I've got to finish the second one. I actually ended up teaching it at our conference because Echo Rantana got sick, but it's a really, really good one. I like it a lot. The second one was probably would fit better in what we do than the first, but I like the first one too. So, yes, there's a bunch going on, and those Pi Tops are slick. We actually donated about 25 to our local 4-H, and they have created a Pi Coder. It's called like Stanley County Coders, and it's all, you know, 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, and they meet once a month and do coding projects on the Pi Tops, which is super, super cool. So hopefully getting those kids really interested in doing computer science and STEM.
I don't know, I just liked IoT security because I didn't realize how easy some of the stuff was to hack.
Oh, it's ridiculous how easy.
Oh my God. Yeah. I hit the light bulb that I got from Walmart, and I was able to keep it persistent on my network. And I'm like, oh, this is awesome. Great.
Yeah. It's scary. It really is. One thing we didn't realize, I put in a bunch of Philip Hughes bulbs, and what I didn't realize is if the power goes out, the default for those bulbs is to come on. And so the light bulbs in both the lights beside our bed and the light bulbs in the living room are set that way. Well, I was out of town, and all of a sudden I get a phone call from my wife, and she's panicking, going, the lights just came on. And she thought I could remotely do it too, you know. And she's like, did you do it? I was like, no, I didn't do it, sweetie. And again, we didn't realize when the power goes out and comes back on, and they come on, and we know that now. But you know, we were freaking out thinking that somebody was messing with the lights.
You can they fixed that with the update before last.
Yeah.
I've got a bunch of them.
Yeah, it's good, because like I said, that was scary when you wake up with all your lights on.
And what is so scary is it was irritating if your power went out at 1 in the morning and come back on at 2.
So wait till you're out of town and your wife's alone and it happens. It's aggravating. You get called at 12:45 at night going, the lights just come on.
Or if you have a hiccup in your wireless and you can't get anything to work, and then
Oh
you
God, that's
be
so
off, and then you turn the light switch off to turn it back on to get light, and then it doesn't come on. You're like, oh crap!
yeah,
I got a bunch of them. They're set to dim.
yeah. It's funny. They're good. They're neat though. I like it. I like being able to say, okay, G, turn on Kelly's lamp, and it turns my lamp on.
I
I don't want to say it because my phone
I
will be.
like them. At least they use their own bridge. Everyone's like, why does it got to have a bridge? I'm like, yeah, put all that on your wireless.
Yeah,
Your request to send and clear to send, man, you'll never get online.
yeah, exactly. I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording, everybody, because I got